Here.
There it is.
Here.
Here. Here. Okay, first up, we have the county attorney's office. Okay, you are here for. Okay, so the first item is a request to authorize the release of county's interest in and to certain deed sale parcels and previous owners of record. Deer Park 37-126.2, request number 182. Motion, please.
So moved. Second.
Benton, Fagion. Just highlight that quickly for us.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I understand there's a second one now that paid, putting in the final, has to put up the final recommendation. This is a standard request of the local law to 2010, where people pay delinquent taxes after we take a judgment and or deed before the auction. After the court vacate our parcels here, request that we sign off on our request.
We have any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Carried. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, next up, Mr. Farrell, Veteran Service. So the item is a request supplemental appropriation of funds into capital project number 240 for Orange County Veterans Cemetery to aid with the continuing improvements of the cemetery, which are necessary to sustain the current and rapidly growing population. This is proposed capital project number 158 in the 2025 capital plan, 150,000 bonding, request number 178. Fagion, Padula. I'd like that, please.
Yeah, sure. Thank you for having me here this afternoon. So this capital project again is to continue the improvement and expansion of the Veteran Cemetery, the growing numbers of veterans, unfortunately, and their spouses that were putting into the ground. We're averaging just shy of 250 funerals each year. We had 236 last year. So we just moved over to a new part of the second cemetery in the far left-hand corner. So we're good there, but we have to continue to stay ahead of the game and get the next plot and acreage ready to be used, which includes removing trees, stumps, and grading it, and everything, getting it ready. So just for your information, just earlier today, there was a group from Dutchess County, County Executive Sue Serino, who came to the tour of the Veteran Cemetery. They're trying to replicate what we have in Orange County. They're very interested in doing the same. So again, that's trying to keep the cemetery in the shape it's in and ready for further expansion.
Any questions? Anything?
What would be the expected capacity increase for this section?
Well, this particular section, each section of the new one we just got ready. Took another about 3 to 5 years, and another section, so we got another 3 to 5 years before that would do.
So we're talking 50 a year times 3 or 5.
150 years, it's about times, yeah, I guess about times 3. Your question is how much?
How many people?
Or each plot of
Yes, for this expansion area, roughly 750, 500.
there will be plots there for, I would say, yeah, probably about 750. I would say 750.
Just a rough idea. Thank you.
And does it depend whether full burial or cremains?
Yeah, that's a good question.
They
Yeah,
really don't have an answer.
so some of this new developed area would be dedicated to cremation plots, which are again half the size. So again, potentially get some more plots. One's 4x4, one's 4x8.
I just thought you would have had that on the top of your head for what you're planning.
Again, I apologize that I don't have exactly what it's off on.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I just have a comment. Thank you for what you do for our veterans. You're doing a great job over there, and I'm not surprised that that's just came over there. So I missed it, but get other counties coming in this month. Okay? Thank you. Keep up the great work over there. Thank you very much.
Okay, all those those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. Thank you very much, Mr. Farrell. Okay, next up, number 3, Commissioner Ewald. Okay, letter A, we have a request to enter into supplemental agreement number 3 with the New York State Department of Transportation to increase funding for capital project number 725. This agreement will increase the preliminary engineering for Heritage Trail segment number 3. Funding will be increased by $26,000, $20,800 federal share, $5,200 county share. Supplemental appropriation is requested. This is not in the 2025 capital plan. Upon approval, capital project number 725 will be increased. County share $5,200 bonding. Request number 188.
Second.
Fagione and Chain. I'll get you the next one, I said.
That's
Can I
what
make that, please?
Thank you very much. This project is for Heritage Trail Segment 3. It's a transportation improvement project with the Orange County Transportation Council. And it's the section of the extension of the Heritage Trail, which would be another 2 miles. It would go from West Main Street in the city of Middletown to Nebraska Road, down Walkhill. And this request is to add some additional funds to the preliminary design phase and to allow for the execution of supplemental grant.
Have any questions? Comments? Will all sponsor, please? Later, all sponsor.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Okay, letter B, we have a request supplemental appropriation to the capital projects budget for the reconstruction of the Ruth and Jim Ottaway Education Center. This project was not included in the 2025 capital plan. Upon approval, funds will be added to the capital project number 714, $750,000 bonding, request number 206.
Second.
O'Donnell. and Cheney.
Thank you. This request is to add funds to the capital project for the rehabilitation of the Ottaway building in the Arboretum at Thomasville Memorial Park. This building was damaged in a fire, and this project is to restore it to its original condition or better. We did have the project out to bid. We received bids for majority of the trades for it. Quite a few became higher than anticipated. There's school projects going on. There's a lot of construction going on, so I think that factored into it. And there was a couple of the trades that we actually no bids at all that we're going to have to go back out to bid for. Based on the numbers we received and our estimates of what the ones that we not received bids on, I think these are the additional funds for the project.
What's going to be the total now for that project?
The total for it is going to be pushing close to $1 million.
Any other questions from the committee? Call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? Okay,
Thank you very much.
next up, item 4. Dr. Young, Orange County Community College. I see we have Paul here. Very good. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. Thank you.
Okay, so we have item 4, request supplemental appropriation for capital improvement projects previously supported through ARPA pursuant to resolution numbers 169 of 2023. A total of $10 million, $5 million of which was provided by the county, was allocated for roof replacement and building repairs at Morrison Hall and Horton Hall on the Middletown campus. Of the approved amount, $9,288,233.79 has been encumbered. Due to necessary change orders arising during the course of construction, the college now seeks an additional $643,413.91 to fully cover the remaining costs associated with the essential improvements. Request number 186. Motion here.
Second.
Cheney, Benton. Hello, sir.
Okay, thank you. And President Young, so sorry she wasn't able to make it. She did have a conflicting schedule today. This one is very straightforward. $10 million project. That was funded through ARPA funds. Funds needed to be accounted for and encumbered back by last December. The college brought in our remaining cost estimates. We had included some contingency money because there's projects that weren't completed at that time. And then we learned that contingencies were not allowed with the ARPA. So we took contingencies out with the understanding that if we ran into change orders, that the county would finance them in this way. As we completed the project in Morrison Hall and Borden is well underway, we have run into these change orders. We worked with the finance department here at the county as to which ones were eligible to be considered, and the wording of the document and all was provided through them. And the change orders range from fairly small ones, extra tiles and double legs and set things, to some more sizable ones. Most importantly, the tiles used on turrets of the mansion are different than the tiles used for the rest of the roof, and those needed to be specially made and higher cost for those that we were not aware of. And then on the Horton project, we discovered some missing decking and insulation underneath the existing roof that needed to be addressed. But we do have a complete listing of the projects if anyone's interested. So basically, that is it. The total is about 642,000 and change. And I would just end by inviting any who haven't been able to see it, come over and see what's in it.
The turret panels, always the cross the boards.
That one was not a huge one, because it wasn't that many, about $12,000. The decking and the missing insulation.
Or leader.
Same thing on the, wasn't it in the specifications that they had to match? When it comes back to the change, they asking for more money to get the right file. I mean, that's concern.
Well, I don't think it's quite as straightforward as that. I think it was discovered as they were attempting to install the original tiles that they weren't holding up properly, so they needed to upgrade. I can get you more details on that.
I just wanted the specifications.
I can find out the answer to that question.
I guess the follow-up to that, shed some light on, the design engineer, how did they respond to the fact that the tiles?
I mean, there's a level of detail I don't have. My facilities director was here to program.
Can you get some of those answers for next Thursday, please?
Yes.
Or no, I'm sorry, Tuesday. Tuesday.
Did they have difficulty because of the shape of the tiles?
I think it was the shape of the turret and having to fit on there properly, and there might have been some curvature and so forth that they weren't aware of.
Because they are oddly shaped.
Yes.
Okay, I'll call the question. All those in favor?
I
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, next up, we have Paul Wiley, real property. Paul, who do we have the,
Yeah.
whole crew coming up? Okay. Zach, welcome.
Hey guys, how are you? Good afternoon. I'm So happy that Chairman Hines told me it's a golf shirt meeting day because of the heat. So,
Yesterday was 90 degrees. Didn't have this.
you know, yesterday
Didn't have this.
the leader of DASNY came to the groundbreaking at Orange Ulster Bosse's, and he had a three-piece suit on, which I'm sure is probably in the garbage right now.
All right, let me get us started here. Okay. All right, so letter A, I'm going to make the motion. Request to approve the purchase of Sugarloaf Performing Arts Center from the town of Chester. The property is a community theater building totaling 19,896 square feet on 8.77 acres, located at 231 Creamery Pond Road, town of Chester, section 13, block 3, block 5. It was completed in 1993 and includes 600 fixed seats and 89 balcony seats for the main theater and an attached pavilion with a capacity of up to 260, depending on the configuration. The purchase price is $1,341,625.83, which represents the town's acquisition loan plus interest. The town of Chester is proposing that the county would honor the existing bookings up to the closing date to allow the events to continue while the property transitions from town to county ownership. The county will be responsible for all bookings after the closing date. Supplemental appropriation is requested. Upon approval, a new capital project will be set up. This was not in the 2025 capital plan. $1,341,625.83. Request number 205. Second. Mr. O'Donnell? Second. Okay, who's first?
So I just wanted, first off, good afternoon, everybody. I just want to tell you what my vision of this is, and we can have the discussion. When I became county executive, a couple of years into my term, this property came up for sale. And the people that had been utilizing it for a number of years wanted to sell it. There was a nonprofit that was kind of running it. So I went in to try to put a bid on it. Then I was going to come back to the legislature because obviously you want to do something to set the price. I said, how many bidders are bidding on this? And they said 2 other bidders, Westchester Dinner Theater and the town of Chester. So well, the town of Chester is bidding on this. On that. We're both government entities in the same county. So anyway, the town bought it. They've been operating it over the last couple of years. I think that the town, because of its size, is limited at what this, what the outcomes and capabilities are, in my opinion, are available to this site. They have a full schedule, and I just want to tell you what you're getting into, and I'll walk with you on this. I just think it's a great opportunity, and I know you guys have a ton of questions, and so do I. So just for the rest of the year, this year, they have booked, and I spoke to a couple people on the way here, Kevin Hines. I said, if you want to see Aerosmith right now, they don't really sound that great, but if you want to see a tribute band to them, they sound like they did back in the 80s when you saw them. But they are booked all the way through December of this year with events. Billy Joel, Elton John, ABBA, all sorts of things like that, right? They also started utilizing that Upwards Pavilion. I think most of you have been to this place before for events. And they're starting to do like lunch shows and things like that. But this is, I believe they can do more. And I personally believe, and we have meetings on this with my cabinet, including tourism. They think that we can make a lot of money off this thing. I don't think we need to make money off this on everything. I believe in like we do with our veterans movie night that we do once every month or two. We have it filled with veterans. It gives us an opportunity to speak for 1 or 2 minutes in front of our veterans and say, hey, while you're here, if you need this, or if you need help with that, or if you're having a problem with this, you can use us. I would do free movies for senior citizens. The beauty of me being very active with the military is I go all over the country. And this past January, I go to Coronado once every year. It's the headquarters for East Coast Special Operations, and it's the best place to be, Coronado Island. They have a film theater just like this, and I'm probably one of the only elected officials in the Hudson Valley that has a chutzpah to play movies like this, but I'll show them. Like Harry Poor's favorite, On Golden Pond. They have To Kill a Mockingbird. Anchorman, one of Glenn's favorites. But Blazing Saddles, I think, would be take some chutzpah. But it offends everybody unilaterally, so I think we get away. But they do these for free. Young Frankenstein, The Natural. The thing about these movies is they're not in our movie theaters right now. but for Jaws coming back for the 50th anniversary this summer. They're all brand new. We're not going to compete with the private movies. I would give these movies for free to the seniors. Let's have some, give these people, our residents, stuff for free in the back. The other thing I see on this, these are just my crazy visions for this, is we have a huge chunk of Broadway actors live in Orange County. Many of them in Barry Cheney's town, Warwick, Tuxedo area, this district. And they do phenomenal shows right now, and they do classes for students that are budding actors. I see them once a month. It's the best place in town to see them when they perform for free at Barrett's Tavern World. It's off the hook, standing room only. They would love to do shows here. They would love to do classes and clinics here. The county tried to do this before when I was going through puberty. I don't think any of you guys want to I don't think, Mike, were you here when they did it back then? No, sorry. Mike was young then.
The sheriff,
Were you here?
the sheriff wanted to buy
Substation.
the sheriff station.
So we tried to do it once before. Back then, Alan Simon was on it, and I talked to him before. And I'm close friends with him. I know Kevin Hines, and I don't mind. He's moving away in the next couple of years anyway. So I know I'm not going to offend him too much. But he goes, I'm not an arts type of guy. I'm not really getting into it. I said, look, I think this is an opportunity. I have a lot of support letters here. I can get a ton more of all different people. But you have people like Arjo Serbosi's on here, who's excited about doing classes and performances here. SUNY Orange, Christine Young wrote a letter, excited about doing performances here. Let me just leave, and I know you guys are gonna have a ton of questions on this. We buy it for 1.34, and then we can keep it as is. We don't have to pay the parking lot. We can leave it as is. But I think we could do more. Those states that are not filled, which a lot of them are, I drive by it all the time, and a lot of times it's closed. Let's open it up to these schools to use it. Let's do a designated one night a week or one day a month that we have free movies for seniors. Where else do we do this? We're making a lot of money. We have a good economy here. We're growing further. I think this is a great program to get back on. Let me just make sure I covered everything I kind of wanted to do on it. Last thing is film. We just wrapped up filming our latest movie there. They love the place. So I could have the film studios back us on this. That's why I don't want to get into this if I don't think we can succeed on it. And I get it. We take a lot of buildings. We have a lot of places that are underutilized, but this is a theater. This is a lot different than an old barn that you have to try to get people interested in. This is something that you can book acts, bring in people that'll actually work with different audiences that we're trying to attract here. So I think it's a great opportunity. I think it's not meeting its potential now. It never will if it's owned by a small municipality. I think we have the caliber of people to help every part of it. I can go into roofs. The roof can last another 20 years. Some of the things, the electric and gas on it's about $60,000 a year. They get paid by Diamond Media right now. I think the town paid, they paid the town of Chester, I think about 163 so far. What is it? 185 so far this year from Diamond Grade Media, which is the people that are doing the promotion. If we just decided to buy this today, or let's say we get the keys for it today, what would I do with it? I would let them run it, let our maintenance people take over and see what we got and what needs. They give us a list of what needs to be done. And let's take a look and see approach for the next 6 months. Let's see what these guys are booking. They're excited if we come on board. They think we can do a lot more as well. So that's kind of my play on it. Paul, what would you have added on it?
I am familiar with the building. I have appraised it at least 4 times before I started working for the county. Last time I did it was 2018. I valued it for $1.8 million. It's worth more now today than it was then because of the increase in land value and the increase in cost that it would take to build something like this. If a private entity were to try to build it, it would cost them at least $6 million. If we were to try to build it, it would probably be $9 or $10 million. You can get this for $1.34 million, and it's worth at least $2 million. That's as is. If we put a little bit of money into it and try to expand the shows, we could, breaking even would be great. If we do that, that would be such a benefit to the county. I think we can actually expand it a little bit and make a little bit of money on it, have it pay for itself, and be a keystone for culture and arts in the community right here in the middle of Orange.
I have in my command team, we have like a council of council of pros. They tell me this is a dumb idea, or this is crazy, or this is great. Amanda was in yesterday. Nobody said it was like she's excited about it. She has her own plans on it and on expanding it. So one other thing on it, it was, well, for the last 15 years, we've been using like Valley Central, Washington Knoll schools as emergency gathering points for receiving centers if we have a mass casualty event. And we do our police graduations, some of the fire graduations at this facility now. We bounce it back and forth around the county. We would start using this for that. All our fire graduations, EMT graduations that were limited to 200 capacity over at the 911 center, we'd be able to have that here. In addition to that, we could have that recovery center. So if you need to have people get away from a scene of an accident, but want to be able to be at a staging area where they could be reunited with their loved ones, this is where we would do it at. So literally every one of the folks that are my commissioners or department heads are on board with this and have been meeting with us on this. There's still a lot of questions that we have that I'm sure we share with you, but that's kind of where we are.
The first question.
Thank you for coming today, but I thought we were going to have a lot more discussion on this than just all of a sudden popping up today. So obviously, you were coming to the caucus on Monday night.
Yeah.
To this, and again, this is one of those things that if you talk to Steve Gross, some studies that he's done said that Orange County could support a large convention center and a smaller convention center. I would assume this would be on the smaller side of the convention center, but again, I think this is just government taking over what a private entity, private business should be doing, not the government.
Legislator O'Donnell?
I think it's a fantastic idea. I'm not too worried about making money. I think it's gonna be pretty easy to break even. I'm sure, I agree that man probably has some benefits that it's not gonna get it up and running. My only concern is what about the equipment that's there. So, if it's approved, and it goes to legislature, it goes through, which I hope all my fellow legislators do support it to be unanimous. It's a fantastic opportunity for our 400,000 citizens. But we gotta make sure what we look at there now, basic. Vegas.
Oh, before we made a deal, yeah. Unlike the
We do a
Newburgh
fire
buildings.
sale
I
and
got
all
it.
the chairs.
All right?
Yes.
You know, send somebody over there.
Inventory.
Inventory every single thing, and make sure that, you know, there's this language about taking over the books that are there. We don't want to take over on, you know, August 31st, and then September 1st, when we go in and there's nothing there.
No chairs.
Yeah.
No,
They're assuming us,
yeah.
right? You know what I mean? So, but I think it's a fantastic opportunity. If I can't listen 1 second, but he skips out. Thank you so much for putting me on that MPA bill. Let me just tell everybody here for 1 minute, my day yesterday, my first meeting, okay? My son-in-law across the street works on a Florida exchange, so again, it's this car 625. It's the 655 train from down there to Hoboken, we take it a path into the World Trade Center. I walk about a half a mile to get on the 5, which you look, every way for the 5. So I also have to throw my suit out. Yes, I do. Okay? All right. You know what time I got home? Backtrack. Right? This is about 5:57 last night at the train.
You didn't stop at Gaelic Park for lunch?
I stopped immediately at the captain's station.
Okay, all right.
We didn't come home to Goshen, we went straight to the captain's station. But, I'm looking forward to it. There's a lot of good things. I sat in on all 6 committees, so that's what I did all day. But, they are stopping the ferry in Newburgh. They're gonna provide, they already have since January, they're providing bus service now. So they did say they were gonna provide bus service starting sometime in 26. So I great, but I said, why not now?
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess that they'll do that a lot quicker. Got a full board meeting tomorrow, but I know they paid a lot of money, so I keep buying my seats myself, with 0. I'm sending you Phil for that.
All right, get his number. You can call him later. We got a meeting.
We have to think, we do have to thank, I have to tell you, you guys are gonna hate to hear this, but we have to thank the governor. Because she's been sitting on other appointees like Rockland County And I asked her,
Today.
I asked her, through her secretary and with her, I said, if I'm gonna put a nominee up, I don't want them sitting in the parking lot. Are you gonna push them forward? And they said they'd let him go, and obviously, the deputy county secretary and we put that paper through. So I think it's gonna be great. And these are all gonna be helping with economic development. I spoke to her office today. With that dock being shut down, why not open it up to American Cruise Lines, which can't dock in Orange County right now? We have to do like a gondola system, a ferry system from the boat to the shore, because we do not have an operational dock that we can utilize. That's something, Mr. O'Donnell, we can collaborate on. So I asked the government, if the dock's empty, let me dock cruise ships so Newburgh can get some commerce.
And I got this, from the mayor of Goshen, about 3 hours, about the Metropolitan Commuter Transportation Mobility Tax. Counties, villages, towns are exempt. I texted back, see how good I'm doing?
Yeah, it's one day on the job. Big question.
Thank you. Oh, you're welcome.
And thank you for pointing out about the inventory of the equipment. That's a very good point. I want to make sure that we address that very thoroughly.
So
It's a great idea.
I just want to echo your thoughts on the Performing Arts Center. I think it's an opportunity that we don't want to miss here. Once we lose the arts, you lose it forever. They just don't come back. Graduations and the county losing it. And right now, it's the least point. I think it's a great mix of public and private operation there, because the county, right now, the town of Chester owns it. Multi-grade media or diamond grade media is running it. So we have a perfect mix. I mean, there's both there. No private company is going to build that type of facility. Not today's day. Mr. Pageant first.
Well, thank you, Chairman. County Exec, thanks for coming today, and I appreciate the paperwork here before us. You had mentioned early on that you've got letters of support here. So I see letters of support from Orange Ulster BOCES, from Orange County Community College, SUNY Orange, Legoland, and from our local Hudson Valley Building and Construction Trades. That's a lot of people that
And
are
the
coming to.
Chamber's coming with it too.
A lot of people coming to the table supporting this. So I'm going to vote yes today, and with these letters here, it really enhances, what you brought to us today as a proposal. So I compliment you for the information today. Thank you, County Executive. Thank you, Chair.
I would, yeah, it's a great opportunity to lose it on this country. I don't want to-
Me too. I agree.
The plan, though, I read from the construction contract. It said the county for both acquisition and renovation. So you have a plan already?
So we've walked through this a number of times over the last 15 years, and I think I definitely, it's worthwhile a county legislature field trip. Because it's a beautiful asset with something that we don't do every day. This isn't a park. This isn't a piece of open space. This is a unique building with unique capabilities. So we've walked through this, even with Jim Brooks, our former Parks Commissioner, because we thought that we might have an opportunity to get it in. So some of the plans would be one of the things was talking about building up the kitchen and make like a commercial kitchen so you can make it into an educational. So we don't have a culinary style setting right now where you can come in and sit like this and have and do some of these things that are out there. I've done a couple of them. I did one last fall up in Harvard. We just did one at recently up in Salton County at the former Eldred place. So that would take some significant investment if we want to do it. So that's one of them. The other thing is the parking lot, like I said, is mostly item 4. I would prefer to have asphalt. We don't need to. It's survived 30 years without asphalt on it. And if you add asphalt on there, now you add drainage that you have to do on there. So that's one of the things. But there's some other stuff we might want to blow out on there to make it more accommodating. Right now, it comes with a tow-behind trailer that has a movie theater, an inflatable movie theater. You can do movies in the parks. There's a lawn in front of it. So we might want to maybe build a permanent bandstand. So I've walked through it with Todd DiOrio from the building trades. And I've walked it through with a number of other people, Heather Bell from the chamber. And I'm saying, what do you think about it? If you go to the place, it definitely gets your mind thinking.
I would agree with that. I would say some of these offerings of that parking lot is better. In that regard, so
I agree.
think the many events there.
It's
I'm
hard.
not tired walking up.
Yeah,
I mean, make it, I would agree with you. If we're going to invest let's go all the way. Let's make it so that we can use the relationship. I just want to see the bigger plan, have all the information before we actually say yes. Also, support, but I think the place is outstanding.
Yeah.
And if that kind of opportunity for arts, for the arts, in the county, I didn't really know who owned, excuse me, by the village of Chester. And they're running it with their contractor.
Yeah,
This is great show.
wonderful show.
Are we gonna continue?
We're gonna
with that
continue.
person?
Right now we are, and I definitely want you guys on this with me. I want your ideas. Barry's an engineer. You know, Lee and I've been in the business doing all sorts of C&D or half our life. You've been in contracting. Everybody on this table brings something to the table of what would you like to see? Different age groups. What do you want to bring your grandkids? What do you want to bring with yourself, your family on there? But look, I've talked to people where we could bring in like a Jerry Seinfeld or a Sebastian Maniscalco. It's going to take days. You're not going to do one show because you need to make it worth it. We'll do multiple shows and bring in a big act. And like I said, these people beat me up. I told you I have a council of captains. They're like, let's make money off this. I'm like, let's do it for free. The veterans movie thing is really one of the things that changed me because our veterans come from all over county. We have the same people come as far away as past you, Tom. You know, out in Otisville, past Port Jervis. All those folks come in once a month to see these movies. And that's why I'm saying that seniors would love this. And we have like one of the main directors from Wicked. This guy is outstanding. Brings in rock star actors. If you want to go and have the best time of the month, you come out with me to the Bear Sound. I'm sure most people in the room have never been there. They have the best performers on Broadway are there. You go down to see Wicked on the first Monday of the month, it's filling in for the main stars is their understudy because they're singing in Warwick. And they're like, let's have fun with this. So believe me, I'm not like the arts culture guy in the world, but it's a lot of fun. And I think you can provide that for free to our seniors and maybe for like a budding actor, it would be great. I mean, we just had Jimmy Fallon here a couple months ago. We have name brand actors and actresses that come here. Bill Murray. We have Tom Hanks coming in September. These are not like some guy that's trying to make it. These are the real deal. I would love to be able to utilize them for stuff like this.
It was gonna happen. Legislator
Like I want the engineers.
So I'm disappointed you mentioned Bear Tavern because it's a pretty well kept secret.
I know.
So just
Now it's out there.
don't say which Monday night
I know.
it is because it's tough to
I
find a
agree.
spot to put a chair down.
I agree.
I agree with the idea, the concept. I don't necessarily think it has to make money. That it can be supported in other ways. Couple of concerns that I have, and it's more relative to what it's going to cost us to put it in the kind of shape. The man's having. And so I know you mentioned it's another 20 years on it, so
Yeah.
what's it, 10 years old now?
2014.
Yeah.
2014. And,
Well,
the inside seems very good.
I think I would clean it up. I would like first, you know, Scott Rosano and the rest of our team, we talked about the other day. We've all walked through this. And either as guests or we walked through it with I've done a couple tours there, like, what do you guys think? So we definitely want to spruce the place up. So that is a big question. How much would it cost? We find out that we want to reupholster the chairs. I don't know. It looks pretty nice, but I definitely would clean the place up. When's the last time it's had an extended or overhaul? And the HV, I don't know, but we've looked at some of the things. We can tell you it's got a septic, it's get pumped out. We have, it's got well water, the well is strong, but do we want to hook it up to municipal water? The town of Chester was talking about it. We have the opportunity to do that. So we could keep it as is, or like Mike Padu said, which I agree. If you want to have seniors there, we do free. I want to have the whole place paid, make it accommodating. If that's something that you guys could figure out as engineering side.
So you're going to need stairs.
Yeah.
Walking that slope as a senior can be very good.
But the guy that designed it, Richard Logothetis, who's a great guy, lives in Chester. He was a Broadway actor, and now he works in the industry. That's built to Broadway standards. I saw Cheetah Rivera there. That's a legendary actress. So we could definitely have some fun with this. And I'd say fun and allow our residents to benefit, and again, not necessarily for a profit.
So any ideas how much we're looking at the putting? Are we talking 4 million? Are we talking
I don't think we need to put any of that in
Well, it's
there.
operational right now.
Right now, it's operational, but if we want to pave it, I have to look at it with people like Eric Tanega to see if we have to add more drainage on there. Or maybe we just pave the first 2 tiers and make that for seniors or something like that. Then do we want to hook up to municipal water to make the water better, quality for, if we want to do like the kitchen thing? But I would have, before I would move on any of these big decisions, I'd want a commitment with some of these partners. All right, Orange Ulster Boces and SUNY Orange, you want to do a cooking program or a theater program? If we invest in X, Y, Z, you want to make a commitment that we'll have that curriculum for 5 years to try it out. Same thing with like the Chamber of Commerce or some of these other things we utilize it for. So I would keep it like Glenn said, status quo right now. Let's take the keys. Like if my plan would be to do 6 months, let's check it out, see what really behind the wall, if there's any issues before we would make changes, and then start making some proposals. The good thing about this thing, as opposed to everything else we do, which it's just the way it is, this is turnkey. A lot of other buildings or pieces of property take money that we have to put into before the public can enjoy it.
Legislator O'Donnell?
Good, thank you. So years ago, the IDA gave $10,000 for equipment. I would put it back together for the IDA.
I would love it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's a big economic development. That's how I see it.
Amanda's,
It's arts, it's other stuff, but for me, it's a big economic development project, and it should fit right into the IDA.
Amanda travels around the state, obviously with tourism, and she gets to see some incredible places that are doing, because there's not, how many theaters are like this in Orange County? You got the Paramount, you got Eisenhower Hall, and you have this. The same thing upstate, there's small pockets, and people are making them successful, so, we think that there's great opportunities.
Lawrence Ball is not one of the best chefs.
This fall?
No.
Oh, no.
Yeah, no, you definitely don't want me as one of your guests.
Minority Leader Paducah?
In regards to infrastructure, we haven't had anybody check that out yet. But I'm thinking there's no bathroom in the theater area. You gotta go upstairs. You need the bathroom.
I believe you're right.
So there's, that would be another issue. We need to address nothing there. So we should get a big scope of what really needs to be done and make it like we doing it.
Yeah,
Even though we're taking over, we could have a plan being drawn up.
and to put out a phased out plan.
Right, for multiple years.
Right. If you're gonna use it like that, you're gonna need back.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna call the question. Oh,
Just
one more.
one last comment. I thought we would get all of these numbers before we would buy the building. I thought that was gonna be a real good discussion instead of rushing this through.
I would say-
It's a chest.
You wanna break that
There's no motion made. We were going vote. I thought this was gonna be a good discussion so that we knew all the figures for all the different options first.
You be okay with that, Steve?
I'm okay, whatever you guys want to
Well,
do.
that includes not
That's gonna be
my
a whole
purchasing it today.
Thrown out.
No,
This was supposed to be discussed Monday night at the Republican caucus with the Republican caucus.
And, we can make that amendment, right, to get the information before we decide. You don't have to buy it right now, right? There's no, we can give the intention, but
I agree that maybe it is a little rush, but also maybe now the time to buy it, because you gotta set it right, so you don't have to do anything. Then
If they
still
want,
be operating, still be very good, and then he has to come back to every improvement, then you can go back.
So I mean, we can leave it the way it is for the next 5 years.
The way I see it,
if
guys,
someone wants to sell it, so I don't see the price change.
I just think look, I think the town of Chester just bit off more than it should. I don't think the town should be in this, but look, I'm going to Standard & Poor's tomorrow. I'm gonna spend the whole day in New York City articulating our financial position. They love hearing this stuff. You wanna go together, go to 8.
You got me at.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, we can drive it. But look, I'm gonna talk, they like that we're investing in other stuff besides just standard government stuff. And that's because of our financial strength. The one things we do know about this is we're gonna buy a building, right? It's gonna have HVAC costs, it's gonna have electric costs, and we're gonna have a staff person to make sure it's clean or whatever after there's fees included. Every time there's a show, they pay the town of Chester for this. But we do know one thing, there's no ancient burial grounds underneath it. That's in a static building. So I'm not worried about finding any major skeletons in the closet because I think it's already pre-existing. So That's why, look, the town, it's been going back and forth with the county attorney and I, and then they just put this proposal forward. And this would also be, if we wanted to go up to a permissive referendum, it would have to be in a certain timeline. So that's why this timing is there, because I was going to appear on Monday. I'll come speak to the Republicans, the Democrats, the Independents, anybody on this. And I'll tell them exactly what I can say, help you now. And as I get more information, we'll put it out.
Because we've been hearing about this for the last 3 or 4 months, that's coming forward, but not like this.
We just got it offered by the legislature, by the town of Chester about 3 or 4 weeks ago, with everything settled. I think they passed it, and that's why it's 40 guys now.
Can we make this subject to that?
I'd rather not. I mean, I think we buy it and then,
And then hope that everything's good.
I've been on 100 days of this and it's cooler in this room, I can tell you that much.
I'm all for this. I'm not saying anything against it. I'm just saying, we've done this before where we bought stuff without all the information. And we've
We
had,
have 200 million in the bank, so it's not like it's the
at
money.
least, at least.
It's the point where we're buying something completely unknown, just someone comes forward and says, hey, I'll take 1.3 million, you can buy it, with all the things that we've discussed today. No plan, no set dollar figures. No.
When do you expect this, Gene, to go for the entire vote to the legislature? Or do you cast
July
it?
1st.
If it passes today, it goes July 1st.
I mean, look, we could get you the best estimate for operating costs, where it would cost to do 0, just to do, buy it before that next meeting as best as possible. The whole opportunity was just, this thing's not going anywhere, but it's not gonna go to the next level. There's no Orange County Film Festival being planned, even though the film industry is hot. That's why we want to do this thing. The sooner we own this thing, the quicker all our people can start jumping on this and start doing it. So, I mean, I don't look at this as some catastrophic cost. Like I said, we have a $200 million plus surplus. The New York State Comptroller, Moody's, S&P are asking us, what are we doing with it? And this is, besides building roads and paying our bills, unlike other municipalities, like the state, we're putting it to good use. And I think it's a great opportunity. Like I said, 3 theaters in the county. 2 of them are run well, 1 of them needs help and is a diamond in the rough.
Service to seniors, I mean, is number one. Yes, Chairman?
I'm all for it. I just have a few questions. The first is the language. The purchase price is the stated number, which represents the town's acquisition loan plus interest. What is that about?
So for them to be made whole, they can't buy out the loan for a certain date, therefore a certain amount of interest. So that's their asking price for us, basically, to make themselves get whole as far as their loan is concerned, because we know the property's worth more than that. So they got an appraisal saying it's worth 3.1 million. We're saying it's worth 2 million at least, based upon that. So they're just saying, just give us what we have into it as far as our acquisition loan and interest.
Well, what's the closing date? So is this a floating number based on when we close on the property?
No, that number is actually a number out into the future, because that's the earliest date that they could actually buy out the loan, which, Carrie, you recall, May of 26, March of 26. So there's,
If we buy
after
it
that,
sooner, it's less?
no, actually, they can't buy it out beyond that. That's the earliest that the loan can be bought out, is for that amount. We can buy it out now, but if we go beyond that, then the loan's going to start getting higher because it's paying more interest.
So how soon can we take title? Does that change things?
The title, I mean, as quickly as we could,
If this passed next week, it would probably take us about 2 or 3 months to get the paperwork all lined up and everything, the inspections and all that stuff. But yeah, we probably have
It'll be
it.
this year.
it could be this year, yes.
Could
You
be.
said March 26th, that.
But March 26th means the price doesn't change.
Between now,
Yeah.
Between now and March 26th.
And then my next question is, I assume the town has a contract with Diamond Grade Media?
They do.
Are we stuck with that? or
We're not
can we
stuck
take
with
over?
it. And Rick, you know, we met about this yesterday. But I told him, you know, again, like we work very close. This county, you know, we just had the Dutchess County legislative chairman here with one of her legislators. We have a very unique experience here. Our budgets, I say this all the time, are unanimous. You know, we work together. So I personally think we should keep it for 6 months and keep these guys on board. They have the schedule like going up until at least 6 months. I literally just voted in Chester that before I came here. And that's why I took a picture of their events, but, so I would just keep them January 17th, they have something, January 18th. And then, by the time we close, it'd be 6 months from now. I would keep them on until, and then rebid it or relook at doing the contract.
Right. the
When
idea would
does
be
their
to honor-
contract run out and we stuck with them?
We're not, I think it's I don't want, I'll let you comment on that, Paul, if you do. I don't really, that's a Rick question.
I can answer that. They are an event, they go by events, they have a contract for per event they bring in, and there's no standard contract, right? But there is,
We can't hear you up here, Amanda. Can you come up here?
I think we need the county attorney's office,
Okay.
you know, let her, because we would definitely bid this out, Kevin, because this is not our bid. And we're not gonna be stuck with it, but we would not keep it. I'm not saying that the contractor's a bad guy, Diamond, but we would do it on our terms and our level of professionalism.
I just want to make sure you're not stuck with the contract that they have with the town. If it
Yeah.
goes on for a few years.
well, they have a food and beverage concession agreement, that goes till September 30th, 2028.
We're stuck with that?
Well, unless they terminate it, so we have to
Who
talk.
would terminate it? The contract or the
We
town?
have to kind of Chester to terminate it, possibly before.
Right.
But if we do, we won't have a liquor license.
Right, that includes a liquor license, which is difficult to get for every fund. So keeping them at least for the concession.
It's all being rushed.
that going.
It's all being rushed.
So if we have to keep, we don't have to keep them.
Well, we're not
Is there a
in contract
buyout?
with them, the town is in there. So they have options to terminate it if there's default. I don't know what the situation, I've not talked to the county attorney, to the town attorney to know exactly what's there. But right now, that's in effect. We don't have the option.
Okay, now with Diamond,
We want to.
Diamond Grade Media, can we
That's-
terminate that?
That's Diamond Grade Media also. So the food and.
Diamond Grade Media is the pet food vendor,
Yes, they are.
so they're
And they
there
have the
until
liquor
2028?
For the food and beverage concession. They also have a facilities use agreement for a series of shows. That's the one where she said she would terminate, they can terminate it whenever they want. I don't have a copy of that. And then they have an office space there that I believe she was going to terminate. This is the town attorney.
So we have a right to get rid of them in that office space or they?
Yeah, she says that she will. That the town will
Who's she?
do that before. Elizabeth Cassidy, the town of Chester attorney.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the letter I have. I have to see what she says. I haven't talked to her in detail and seen the document yet. But the important one is the food and beverage concession agreement with the liquor license.
Do they have an escape clause if we would buy or they're stuck one way or the other?
These are all that looks like to me. I don't know if they would voluntarily give it, terminated with the town. Then we lose the liquor license.
I mean, what about open dates where there's no shows? We have a right to go in there when we
I don't
want?
have that. I don't have that right here.
So in your opinion, we could use it on open dates or are these dates?
So if we're gonna own it, sure, I would assume. I would have to get a copy of that before.
I don't know if I would assume that because if Diamond Great Media is the exclusive operator, they might not let us in.
They have a facilities use agreement, is what they say. I have not.
You haven't seen it. You're scarce, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because if the building is closed or for no events, then how much are we gonna have to pay them
I'm gonna-
because of
One more thing though,
inactivity?
on her letter to the town of Chester, from the town of Chester to County Executive Newhouse, it says individual facility use agreements are for various events booked at Sugarloaf Performing Arts Center. So it sounds like from her letter, you're the town attorney, that each event you get a facility use agreement. So
Yeah, I
if
can
we
comment a
have,
little bit. The town operators have most of the events. The dance classes, the local events are all through the town directly.
And the town
There you
gets a fee, and they also get a fee for the cleanup.
Yeah, so Diamond Grade doesn't do every event.
no, it doesn't sound like, and the town of Chester, according to the town attorney, has 3 employees that manage the day-to-day operation that they will terminate. With the town employees, so they will not be there if we don't want them to be.
So can you or Rick attend the Republican's office and make yourself?
He's on it.
available to the
He's on
other
it,
offices?
yeah. He could
And
be.
and research these questions. I don't know if you can answer them that soon. If you can't,
Yeah,
Yeah,
So,
it sounds
if we don't
like,
get the answers, we can always pull it if we're not satisfied.
Yeah.
And it's not only the Democratic Republican caucus, you're gonna have to deal with Mr. O'Donnell and Mr. Amo separately.
Okay, so it does sound, and I will talk to the town attorney right away, that individual facility use agreements are for the various events, and I'll get you a few of those agreements. If there's no blanket agreement, she does an agreement with, let's say, Doobie Brothers tribute band, then they would have an agreement for that time. That's what it sounds like from her letter.
I just wanna make sure we can use it for our use and not have to beg Diamond Great Media for access to our own building.
I agree with you.
We use it now for our use without going through Diamond.
Right.
We use it now without going through them.
I agree with you, and I have Paul Wiley, Terry Gallagher, myself, and Rick scheduled to meet with you on Monday. And I have Kerry just talk about the finance side, obviously Paul to talk about the acquisition. And Rick to talk about stuff like this, because, we've been going back and forth for months on this. So I presented to the town of Chester board back in November, December last year, and we've just gotten to this point now.
Correct, without discussion at all.
We're just gonna have a ticket meeting with you guys too.
Yeah, of course. I'd rather just do this at a public meeting like this and have all the answers. So the next committee that comes after this be done. So we go back.
There is no committee after this. It
I
goes
know.
to the floor.
So we're doing it on the floor.
Yeah, we don't wanna do that on the floor. Doing a question and answer on the floor never works out to be productive. I don't think the work, if there's questions, then there has to be here. I'm not trying to hide it. I'm just saying it's just easier in a committee process rather than on the floor.
This is a big enough project that I think that when this is voted on first, if it gets to the forum first, all those things are put out there to the public. Just to say, what's the plan, what's the cost? But in the meantime, let's get that team together in front of you and obviously in front of Michael and his team. And I don't know if you meet with Amo or if it's two separate groups. Who? You and Mike Amo? Yeah, okay, good. You heard.
Okay, one more question. Legislator O'Donnell?
Yeah, I'm just, the liquor license is a bit of a flag for me. I'm not too worried about us being able to get a liquor license in a quicker fashion with phone calls up there.
I agree.
But you don't want to be tied down to them till 2028. No, that's a no-go.
Yeah.
Right, and I'm sure if you talk to them, if you want to do a 6-month agreement, which is what you're talking about, they'd probably say, all right, we'll do 6 months, then we'll come back and go. Okay, thank you.
What's the change?
You mentioned inspections in the intervening period between when they approved this and when it closed. Is there gonna be an out clause with that relative to us finding something that's just untenable?
I would leave that to the county attorney to talk about on Monday, but I think that if you want to, I think you should go take a look at it yourselves too. If you want to the next week, I know it's tight. But
My preference is to rely on professionals.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, we can see it. We, to some degree, know what we're looking at, but we can't put a price tag on it.
Yeah.
And we can't really assess it the way a professional.
I'd like to put Scott Rosano, Eric Denega, and some of our team, of course, and Paul Wiley in there before this goes to a vote.
And then there was one thing in the town of Chester's letter, relative to town use, and the town's requested it to be permitted to utilize for town events from time to time.
Yeah, but I would do that with Warwick or Middletown.
What is time to time to
It's not,
nondescript?
it's very, say like, hey, we'd like to use this weekend. But when we're not playing with stuff, you know, I've had like, you know, theater groups in different schools that they're playing, like you're watching your kid perform the latest show in the cafeteria in most schools in the county. This is a real, you know, Broadway thing. So if they want to schedule with us, I would do this. And again, you guys tell me, we'll set up the standard like we do with the county parks. We charge everybody, which is a pain in the neck. So when you have like the fallen state troopers want a free barbecue, it's hard to say no to that, but when you open the door, but I'd have no problem if people schedule it, especially to our school districts, but there's a lot of people who want to utilize it. That'll be our biggest headache. Who do you say no to and what are you gonna charge?
Majority Leader?
I'd just like to say, I think the law department should investigate whether, since they have a contract till 2028, which is like 40 months roughly, and they do one event a month, obviously they must be making a certain amount of profit. So we're gonna have to pay whatever the profit is average per month times 40 by the amount of the contract. Just roughly, that's all. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, I'm gonna poll our committee here. Let's see if this is gonna move forward or. I'm in favor of it.
Are you doing it now for a vote?
No, I'm gonna poll us first before we go.
So it's on the floor, but, I think it's best.
Anybody interested in any more comments? Okay, I'll call the question.
How long will it take to get the information?
I don't think it takes more than a couple days. We'll give you our best estimates and put a package together and we'll, it is what it is. The numbers are, what is your electric utility bills for the last year? Give them to us. And that's it. And then we make the sort of determination on saying, I would ask them. That's it.
I'm talking big.
The legal stuff, no, I think,
Not just the legal stuff, the other legal stuff, like the parking lot.
we have that. We have that. We started putting that together.
It would be nice if we had seen that.
We're literally just getting, we will get all that stuff together and we'll tell you what it would cost. But right now, what we have to use, what you get from getting the keys today. I think that, so you would have three costs, right? The purchase cost, 1.34. Second cost would be what it costs every year to maintain it as is. The third cost is a phased in, do you want to pave this thing? Well, how much would it cost to pave it, like the second year reown it? Or let's say, put a commercial kitchen in the third or fourth year. So we'll get all those options and prices to you with estimates, and then we'll be able to see like what we can forecast. And then the last question I would do is what I think Kevin Hines, the chairman, asked, is can we get out of these contracts? Are we handcuffed to these for 6 months, or can we say, you know what, great working with you, you did a good job, we're gonna put this out to bid with someone else? And I agree with Jimmy O'Donnell. I would call Albany, like, we want to start our own liquor license. We got this. I know it's a pain in the neck to get. It's the biggest headache for businesses, but I don't think that would handcuff us. But let's see.
And do we want to be in the business of here? Or do we let
Or do we
Private
have a
bidder-
private entity?
the private entity do it like he's doing now?
We're doing it right now at our golf course.
Did you want?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody opposed?
One.
One. Motion carried. Okay, we'll be on the floor
Sorry to take so
Tuesday.
much time, guys. We'll be back. I'll see somebody on Monday.
Yeah, Monday night.
Yeah.
Monday.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Okay,
You're
letter.
on.
That's all you get to say.
So, hey, Jimmy, talk to Carrie if you need a ride into the city tomorrow.
All right, letter B, request to authorize an easement across county-owned property for an existing drainage swale for the Village of Florida treatment plant. County-owned property is a vacant tract that is the north portion of the town of Chester, section 16, block 1, lot 3.32, which is the northeastern section of Glenmere Lake. The easement seeks to memorialize the existing drainage pipe and swale that are along the front section of the parcel and would encompass an area to be approved by the Orange County DPW and the Village of Florida. The easement would allow the Village of Florida to access the area to perform necessary maintenance and cleaning. Request number 207.
So moved.
Second. Janie Fabiano.
Thank you. Yes, as the description says, this is merely an easement across county property for an existing swale that drains out of the Village of Florida, where treatment plant. And we're seeking to memorialize this because it really does need to have an easement as opposed to just building across. The schedule is not exactly been determined yet by the surveyor. They're working on that right now. So it should be about a 20-foot wide easement to nail down exactly where it is and what the surveyor is working on. The The Schedule A for the description will be agreed upon by our DPW and the village before we would sign.
My only concern is the county's, this land is definitely habitated by endangered species. I know the swale we're talking about, it's right there, and I don't want to see us giving an easement, and then what happens with the village of Florida goes in there and does some work that is, maybe not up to standard. I don't know if we have to have some kind of agreement in there where our DPW has to be there to monitor the work they do, or DEC has to be, because it's our property now. We give them an easement, they go in there and disturb,
Kill the frogs.
kill frogs or whatever may happen.
Is the pipe in the ground now?
Yeah,
Well, this is
yeah.
You have an open swale section. that
There's a
they're
swale and there's a
talking
pipe.
about.
Do they
Yeah.
intend to extend the pipe?
No, I don't believe anything is be extended or changed here, other than just for them to be able to clean out, to allow the water to flow through now as they have been doing,
At some point, we can replace the pipe.
perhaps. That's a good point, though, but I assume that any work that would be done for something like this would be done to the standards that the village has to live up to.
And we're not on the hook.
I wouldn't think so,
Well,
but
if
I
we
can
give them an
verify.
easement, we're just letting them work on our property. We're not selling it to them.
Correct.
So I think we are on the hook for it.
You wouldn't be permitting for any work that's done.
No, but if they don't ask for a permit,
They would have
and they
to.
go on the property,
And the DEC would find them, not us.
I'm not so sure because we're the owner. It's just an easement.
I apologize, I don't have an answer to that. We'll reach out to law and find out who would be responsible, and for a DPW, we would probably have. It was actually our DPW that reached out to us, to ask about adding this easement. So I'm assuming that they have considered that.
I mean, at this point, I would like to just hold off on this one month. Get it squared away. Who's responsible when they go in there and disturb the swale area and or pipe area.
So are you withdrawing the motion? As chairman, you can
I
withdraw.
I would like to withdraw the motion just for 1 month. Let's revisit this next month
You will look into that.
with just some more information. That's all. I'm not opposed to it. I just want to make sure that we're not liable for them going into it. Shouldn't be. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to letter 6, Barry Gallagher. Hopefully this one's going to be short. and sweet. Okay, request supplemental appropriation to the Department of Finance budget in the amount of $400,000 to appoint special district attorneys on the case People versus Edward B. Holly, as per an order of the Honorable James McCarthy, AJSC. Funds to come from contingency, request number 204.
So good afternoon. We're here because.
Hold on.
Oh, sorry.
Jamie? Okay, Terry.
Sorry about that. So as you stated, we're here to request $400,000. Of that $400,000, 105 will be utilized to pay outstanding bills from the first case. Now, there's a second case that is set to start in October. So prep work is being done now to October to get ready for that case. So therefore, we're asking for that money to have to pay those bills as they come in.
Sort of
So
change.
how far do you expect this money to take?
So I'm hoping that this will take us to the end of the year, and then in 26, again, I don't know how long the trial will last, and then I'll put money in the budget in 26 to cover expenses again. So I'm hoping that this would go throughout the rest of the year.
And that's based on projection you see.
Yeah, I'm speaking with the attorneys and kind of the, depending on how long the trial will take, I can't predict that. But that's my projection. And again, this is court mandated, so we have to pay these bills.
Majority leader?
Chairman first.
Oh, sorry.
What was the total cost of the first trial?
Sure, the total cost for outside, for special counsel was 1,127,268.69. Again, that includes expert witnesses and reimbursements paid to various people. That being billed through special funds
That doesn't cover the cost of the defense.
on the 18B side.
That came from the state, I assume.
That came from the state and partially county funded. That's on the 18B side, signed council side. I can provide you that number, but I don't have that.
So this is not a question for you, but just a statement. The thing that bothers me the most about this is the judge appointed special district attorneys. And instead of separating it, and I'm no lawyer, but I would suggest if I were making laws, that if you're going to appoint a special district attorney, it should not be the person that tries the case. Because in this case, the two attorneys, was it two attorneys appointed or one?
Two.
So two attorneys are appointed to make all the decisions about whether to retry the case or not, and I don't have an opinion on that. That's up to the courts and everybody else. I'm no expert on that, but it should be a separation. For instance, if the district attorney decides to prosecute, he doesn't get extra money. Here, in this case, these people decide to try the case again. They're the ones getting paid $1 million or whatever the number that actually went to them. So there's a problem in this whole procedure. If a court appoints a special district attorney, it should be someone separate, and they should also then appoint someone to prosecute the case. It should be separate. Because in this case, these people got to decide, the two attorneys, to re-prosecute and then get paid. And that's what I have a problem with. And I'm not saying they did anything wrong. I just have a problem with that because to me, it seems like a blatant conflict and a quirk in the system. But obviously, we have to pay the bills. I understand that. And I'm not criticizing either side. I just see this as a conflict.
Yeah, I can't comment on that. I just have to pay what the bills are being sent to me.
Majority of the first.
Yeah, I'd have to echo what the chairman just said. So you mentioned that when did we expect the, you mentioned the 295 was for prep for September. When do we know when the new file is going to start?
So that's, I believe it's sometime in October.
October start.
Well,
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Slater O'Donnell.
Not really a conflict the way I look at it, all right, because you're gonna have, even if it was the district attorney, which he couldn't in this case, he had a legally he did it right away. He did keep himself silent, but if he did still have control of this case, it would be his decision on whether to go forward or not. So it's the same in this case. The lawyers.
People are getting paid. They doesn't get paid extra to prosecute.
Get paid, it's still a major part of it, and he pays the expert witnesses. He pays a lot of other expenses besides the attorney. So they're the ones with the knowledge of the case, so they're the ones that are gonna make the decision one way or the other, right, whether to go forward or not. And in this case, they are acting as the district attorney. That's the problem. Well, I don't see it as a problem, because that's the norm of how it's done. They don't bring an outside person in because they're the ones that have the expertise from the original case. We don't want some new attorneys going in and redoing everything from day one. All right, so.
I wouldn't suggest new attorneys. I'm suggesting a different person make the decision whether or not to be tried, not the ones who stand to gain significant financing.
I see your point, but they're the ones that would make the arguments on why they should move forward. Thanks.
Any other questions? I'll call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Carried. Okay, we have a brief sales tax update.
sure.
Yeah. 1 to 5.
Time is money, right? Yeah, so as we always do, we provided you the statements, but this month's a little different. We still have one payment coming in June. It'll be June 30th, Monday, I believe. So therefore, we have received 2 out of 3 payments. To date, June is $235,000 over plan, or 1.03%. Year to date, the county is still under plan by 3.3 million. But if you remember, I was here a while ago, we were 5.4 million under plan, so we're inching away to get to where our target is. So, yeah, we're hoping.
Good news. Any questions for the
Yeah.
commissioner? majority of their revenue.
Do you know what our third payment was last year, roughly?
I apologize, I don't have that.
Yeah.
Oh, on that sheet, I'm sorry.
That's the gross.
Oh,
That's, that includes the
we're gonna be inching more past that.
We hope. We hope.
Yes, we hope so. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you
Thank you
guys.
very much.
Have a good day. What's my minute picking me up? Mr. Chairman. Before we go forward with budget update, can we just revisit 5B again? Pursuant to our legislative manual,
I do think I can pull it.
can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Pursuant to our legislative manual, the chairman has the authority to move items from the agenda if it's going to be tabled for a period of time that has to be done by a motion and an agreement of the committee. So could we just go back and there be a motion and a second for that for tabling for whatever period it was that you mentioned? So we have it for the record?
If there's no period of time, you said that would be a motion.
It does. There is-
Regardless
to
of
table,
the period
yes,
of time.
if there's no period of time, there is a motion that's, and a second which will be. But if
Okay,
there is-
I'll make that a motion to postpone for 1 month. Table for
Table
1
for
month.
1 month.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No.
Anybody opposed? Carried. Okay, motion carried. Thank you. Ms. Lozinski, Budget Director, and Deputy Budget Director for a budget update. Very good news.
That's a great. Okay, so the revenues, the taxation, not posted yet. All right, state and federal aid. State is over by $9.8 million over 2024. Federal aid is under $2.2 million. from 2024. So and that is pending the pool reversals. In May of, in federal aid in May, we got $531,000 compared to in May of 2024, we got 5.2 million. But in April, in April of 25, we got $15.2 million. But compared to April of 2024, we had 7 million. So it's basically a time point. You know, it's a point in time.
Like we're black.
Well, trying to.
I did that, right? Okay.
Okay, other revenues, 3.9 million under last year. Interest and earnings are down $4.3 million over 2024, but we do have CDs coming due in the fall, so I believe we will meet our budget. Sales tax, I think we will meet our 2024 number. But I honestly don't think we're gonna get to the 2025 budget unless something dramatically changes for us. Okay. Personal services and benefits, 2025 is 10.5 million lower than 2024, and that's basically because of the February accrual that we did. Contractual, 2025 is $20.4 million over last year. The majority of this is $10 million, and that's in mental health contracted agencies, and $3.3 million in vendor payments with TSS, and that's basically safety net population for the hotels and shelters.
Any questions?
All right,
Going home early.
okay. Have a good evening.
Thank you very much. Okay, with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
We are adjourned.